Hey y'all, welcome to today's video. Hope everybody's having a blessed weekend. Thanks for watching. If you looked at my thumbnail today, for my subscribers, today's not about Mustang content or Ford GT content. Today's about Bronco content and the new Ford Bronco. So, my wife was driving a 2018 Raptor when the Bronco released that they were going to build a new Bronco. We sold that and bought another vehicle. And we put in an order for a new Bronco. So I'm going to start off by saying I'm a true Ford diehard guy. I bleed Ford blue. I got my Ford hat, my Mustang jacket, my Shelby shirt on. I've always been into Ford. I've never had any issues with Ford whatsoever. I love Fords. That's just bottom line. No excuses. So I'm going to start off and explain to you guys how this Bronco process worked when it first was released. So you guys that are Bronco guys and you're watching this video and you want to fast forward a little bit to find out what happened to my reservation and my order and why it was canceled, feel free to do that. For those of you that don't know how it works, I'm going to explain to you how it works and how Ford told us it was supposed to work. So when they released the Bronco, they were going to open up a reservation bank on the Ford.com website to reserve a Ford Bronco reservation that you could purchase. When the order banks opened up, that system was locked up. It was slow. You couldn't get in, so we waited a little while to put our order in. We put our order in, I think, in September of last year, 2020, and we're pushing into 2022 almost in a couple of weeks. So when you do the reservation, you had to give a deposit through Ford Motor Company, which we did gladly. And they told us when we did that, or how it was initially explained, that it was your reservation. You couldn't lose it unless you wanted to cancel that order. The dealership couldn't cancel it. It was your reservation. It was your order when it came in. Now, some of you guys that have new Broncos on order right now that are still waiting from a 2020 reservation date, I know you're aggravated. I know you're frustrated. I feel it. And for those of you that are watching this video that don't know how it works, just so you know, I wasn't your average pain in the butt customer. I wasn't there every week jumping on a desk wanting to know where my wife's Bronco was at. I wasn't going crazy. I know how the new car programs work with the GT500s and the GT350s, and we've had Bullet Mustangs, Boss 302s, GT350s, Raptors, new F350s. We've had a ton of new cars. So I know how the order program works. Now, we moved here to Utah 13 years ago. There were some guys in the Mustang community that worked at Westland Ford in Ogden, which is where we chose to start purchasing vehicles from. Now, that dealership was easy to work with. I had no problems whatsoever. I think we purchased 13 or 15 new cars from Westland Ford while they were still Westland. We added that up the other night after we found out some stuff, what was going on with our Bronco, and we spent $850,000 in new cars at that dealership since we've been here. I've rebuilt a lot of wrecked cars as well, so spent probably $200,000 to $300,000 in parts through the parts department. Had all my oil changes done there at the service department. No problems. So we will go fast forward on the Bronco program from a reservation to an actual order. We were told we had to convert our orders back in March. By that time, Westland Ford had been sold out to a multiple Ford dealership here in Utah, and I didn't know any of the new management that came in. My original salesman stayed there. He's not actually a salesman. He was at the time the new car sales manager, so he knew what was going on most of the time. So I mainly dealt with him. I never talked to their GM. I never talked to anybody in their sales department. I strictly talked to my salesman. Prayers go out to him. He's been extremely sick the last 6 or 8 months. I hope he's doing well. So I went in before Thanksgiving. We were looking at a new Ford Maverick with my daughter. We were talking with a young sales lady there. Well, my wife was mainly talking to her, and I talked to her a little bit, and we didn't think anything of it. We went to Thanksgiving. We had a blessed Thanksgiving. I hope everybody else did as well. And when we came back the following week, there was a check in the mailbox from that Ford dealership, and I didn't know what it was for. So I called over there, and I tried to talk to their GM, mainly because their new car salesman now Let's say we just don't see eye to eye. This is my second carbon fiber track pack GT500. I got them from the same dealership in South Carolina. My first one that I bought, I had to sell to buy the Ford GT. And when it came in, I had it shipped to that dealership under their new management over there. And when it came in, he thought it was their car. He was asking me how I got the car, why it was there, why I had it shipped there. And I had been dealing with my salesman. He knew it was coming. It's called courtesy shipping through Ford Motor Company. Any Ford dealership can do that. So ever since that day with me and that gentleman there, we've never had a really good rapport as far as personality goes. I guess we clash a little bit. The only time I've talked to him is when I had to go back in when we found out our Bronco wasn't going to get built as a 2021 model. I had to go to the dealership. I really didn't have any choice. So I went in and had him convert my order from a 21 to 22. That went smooth, no problems. I said thank you, and I went on my merry way. So to get back to the whole check thing, I went to talk to the GM because I didn't want to talk to him because we kind of butted heads, and when that happens, you really don't want it to go any further than it already is. Now keep in mind, since this dealership has taken over, I've bought a 2019 F-150 from them. It was a leftover that they had. My son has bought a 2021 F-350 dually. Kitty cat. I bought a 2021 Mach 1 from them. It's in some of my videos. So I thought I kind of established a good customer / rapport with the sales department, service, and all that other stuff. Now I know a lot of people in the service department, parts department. I go in there all the time. I buy parts all the time. I've never had an issue with parts or service. Any of that I could think of. So when I called, I requested to talk to the GM because I knew I didn't get along with their new sales manager, and he wasn't there. He did call me back 2 hours later or 3. I told him I was 5 minutes from the dealership. I would be there, and he said, okay, fine. So I went in. We had a very short conversation. It wasn't a very good conversation, in my opinion. I told him, well, could I get this on video so I can have this for my edification to see what actually went down. And when I tried to record it, which I did have that part on record, he threatened to call the cops on me and if I didn't leave. And I asked him for what reason. I'm just here to find out why, what this check is for. He's like, that check is a refund for your Bronco order. Now keep in mind, folks, when he said that, I was not a very happy person. I asked him why I didn't want a refund, and he said he no longer wanted my business and I was no longer welcome at his Ford store. Now to me, that's not good business sense if you look at my past purchase history from that dealership whatsoever, but it's not my call, so I can't make that call. So I told him, okay, that's fine. He told me to take the check. I said, no, sir, that check is for my Bronco deposit. I don't want to lose that. And we walked out of the office, and in front of his full sales staff, I asked him to transfer. I wanted my order transferred to a different dealership local, and he said fine, he would do that. Now that was in front of his wholesale staff. So everybody heard that conversation, and I left that dealership in Ogden, Utah to drive to Layton, which if any of you guys want to look on a map, it might be maybe 8 miles tops. By the time I left that dealership in Ogden, Utah, and got to the dealership in Ogden, I hadn't even made it there yet. They had went in and deleted my reservation and my order for our 2022 Bronco, which is now a 22, or was supposed to be. So my beef is, I'm not trying to take a shot at Ford or at the dealership. I'm an adult, they're adults. Explain to me why this happened. I don't really know. If it's just a personality conflict, have me deal with a different salesman. It's not a big problem. Those get resolved every day in professional corporations. It's just one of those things. Sorry, I thought somebody was pulling up. I haven't had any problems with any other dealerships since I've started buying cars in 1994. So if anybody from Ford's watching this video, you can hit me up at foxjunk73@gmail.com, and be glad to to give you my phone number and we can have a conversation. Or if anybody from that dealership in Ogden or even the family owner wants to contact me, and maybe we can sit down with the GM and we can resolve this issue. But this is my only recourse is YouTube right now. I've tried to call Ford directly, customer service. They're no help. They transfer me to the Ford Bronco department. Same there. You get an operator on the end of the phone that works from home that has no power, no control, and no answers. So it's very aggravating. Now I will say Ford has tried to do some things for customers that have had reservations or Broncos on order since 2020. I'll show you a few of these things. So the first thing they sent us I thought was pretty good. It was pretty cool. I didn't know what it was when I first got it, and then everybody on the internet has them. This was a pretty cool little lithograph they sent out. I don't know if you can see that. The sun's kind of out. Gives you the renderings of the new Bronco, the dash and everything like that. So that was the first thing they sent out. And then they told everybody, well, if you want your Bronco, we can't get parts, which that's the main holdup with Broncos. You know, the big pandemic hit, they couldn't get chips, they couldn't get, they were having a hard top issue. Then they told people, well, if you make it a soft top, we can build your Bronco, or if you do a different engine or no towing package, or, you know, all these other things, if you wanted it, they could build it, but you had to build it how you didn't want it. Which I was like, no, we'll wait. We're patient. You know, I'm not in a hurry. We'd like to have it, but, you know, we ordered it. That's how we wanted it. Now, keep in mind, my Bronco is basically a base Bronco, cloth interior, nothing special. It is a two-door, so they're making less two-doors, and I understand there's going to be a wait for that. So the other little thing they sent us in the mail just to keep us, you know, this right here, it's a hammock. I didn't open it because I guess it's just something you can lounge around in while you wait on your new Bronco. So a hammock for the second gift they sent us out. The third gift they sent us, I didn't take it out, I did open it. It's to display in your garage. It's a Bronco flag. So I guess when you ever get your new Bronco, you can hang that in your garage. That's kind of cool, I guess. The last thing they sent us, I didn't open. I'm not really sure what it is. I think it's a t-shirt. I guess it's to wear while you have your Bronco, but as for me, it doesn't look like I'm ever going to get a Bronco. The closest thing I'll ever get to a Bronco, I guess, is, you know, my little Hot Wheels. That's the closest my wife is going to get currently. So this is my video on how the Bronco process has worked for me. We were told that once the reservation was put in, it was our Bronco. The only way we could lose it is if we canceled it ourselves. I didn't realize that a dealership would either be so petty because there's maybe a mutual disagreement. People sometimes just don't get along, but I didn't think something like that would cause us to lose an allocation we've been waiting on for 13 months, guys. Now I do realize, you know, it sounds kind of petty with everything going on in the world. I'm just, like I said, this is my only advocate here, is to voice my frustration. Yeah, we'd still love to have a Bronco. Like I said, we bleed Ford blue, and it's just one of those things. And there's a couple things that aggravate me a little bit. If you're still with me, Ford has a couple places throughout the United States that are doing Bronco off-road classes for people. I think each of those classes has like 10 to 12 Broncos. Why not send them to customers that have some on order? And another thing that's been really aggravating for Bronco owners or people that have them on order, you go to the dealerships, and now we used to call them demonstrators, now they're calling them mannequins. So you go to some dealers and they got 1 to 2 mannequins that are just there for people to come in and test drive and maybe place an order for something they might get 3 years from now. Why didn't those Broncos go to reservation holders? You know, fill some orders with those. You know, I'm no general manager, but when it comes to customer service, I think that should be priority over anything. Another thing that really, I guess, frustrated me and prompted this video is I got on Auto Trader yesterday, and there's 15 pages of Broncos for sale on Auto Trader. Now, I realize some of those are auto-generated ads. I get that, but about 80% of them are not. And you get on there and you look at some of them, and they've got a retail sold unit sticker in the window. Now, what that means, if you're not familiar with the new car process, there is a retail sold, which means it's sold to a customer. It's not a dealer order. So I don't know how these dealerships got all these retail Broncos sitting on the lots. All I can figure is maybe employees ordered them and now they're trying to sell them through the dealership. I don't know how that works. I do know there's another dealership in Salt Lake. If you go on autotrader.com, they've got something like 26 Broncos coming in. It's just crazy. And I know everybody gets frustrated, and most of us are patient. You know, I was probably the most patient. I didn't, like I said before, I didn't jump on a desk. I wasn't calling every week. I know I talked to my salesman. I think I called him when I had to go in and place the order, convert it to an order in March. I went and I talked to him when I had to go in and talk to the other guy in September to switch it to a 22. And we've had numerous phone calls, you know, checking up to see how he's doing with his health. And, you know, we'll talk about, you know, the Bronco program and parts availability and the delays and all that stuff, which that's just making conversation to me. But again, guys, for those of you watching this video, thanks for hanging out. I apologize it's so long. That's been my Bronco nightmare, and I know a lot of people are still going through it. And I know it just drives you crazy. It's aggravating. It's frustrating. But, you know, we are just a small fish in a big pond, and there's not much control we have over it. There's more things going on in the world. This is just a video, my platform to vent my frustrations, and that's all it's meant for. Maybe we'll get this worked out. Maybe Ford will reach out. Maybe the dealership will reach out. I hope they do. I'd like to find out what's going on. It's really, really aggravating. For those of you who haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. For those of you that are subscribed, thanks for sticking with me. We'll try to get back to some Fox body content here soon. I've got some work done on the 93 Cobra. I've got a name for that. We're going to go with Project Field Snake. And again, thanks for your time. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a blessed weekend. Thank you.